Hey guys, I'm going to add this video here for Apple. Taking a look at a lot of lines here. I'll start deleting them incrementally one by one, but we're just piercing my top trend line, just barely poking through on a tail here. I have a 150 moving average up here at 200, and what I believe Apple follows a little bit more closely, about a 115 in this last 1 year time frame that we look at. It's a 2-year daily that we're looking at here. So I would say the 200-day moving average down in the, I don't know, in this trailing move here, I'd say close to 145-ish, maybe a little bit below there. We can remove that one for now. And then looking back at the 150, a little bit below my second trend line there. So if we do break down below the 150 area on a close, 150.90 I believe it is, you're probably going to go down and retest that 148, 149, 150 moving average. I don't see that happening. Still a little bit of news-driven selling here on product announcement. Let's go ahead and remove that one. And then we have the 115 moving average, which kind of lines up with my trend lines that I have. I didn't go trough to trough on these lows here, but I did go the directional pivotal change on the long-term chart that we're looking at here back in June of last year. So we've been able to regain that line in this area here, and that's the line that we followed for some time. And we're just kind of pushing through there. The second line below there is right around the, well, obviously moves in time here, but right around the 151.90 area. So I would expect 151.80, 151.90 to be your closing support for today. Hopefully we hold there. There's a little bit of a gap down there to the 150, and then if we don't hold that, we're going to be touching this longer term trend line at the lower levels around the 147, 148 area that I talked about. So no panic here on Apple. Let's clean up some of these lines here and look at some other things. Before I erase this, you can see the 115, not a common SMA, but we've kind of been trailing that area since, let's say, November of last year. So on the RSI, we're getting a little bit oversold here on the daily. Every time we've redlined on Apple, we've had a bounce. You can see historically, obviously things can change. And we're coming into that area again here. A little wiggle room, which probably lines up with that 150, 180, 150, 190 if we see that. And the one thing I don't like is we're still seeing the bearish MACD volume expansion. We want to see that start to curl here. Hopefully it will. It would probably line up once again with that little bit a lower trend line that we talked about there in the 151 area. Hopefully we can hold that and start to curl back up again. I think if the market just stays stable, Apple's going to continue to grind higher as it starts to lighten up in the selling here from the product announcement, and we start to get some buyers back in. Everybody's probing for a bottom here. And just some simple geometric lines. You can see the breakdowns in Apple the last 6 months. We were able to regain this area here on the 154-ish, and then we dropped back down. I'm sorry, I should be looking over here. 154. So we regained that area, got some momentum. Looked like we were going to get higher into the 164s area. We did have a trade in Apple. We were buying it under 155 and selling it somewhere in here, but the buy and hold account, we want to keep holding some Apple for many years, and this is another area that we're looking to get back into it to add to that position. So you can see the directional change here on this little cup down here. The computer's a little bit slow, but once we regain this 147, 148 area, we can draw the pivot line there. Remember, we're going to use closes on these pivots, so we run it across there, and that's where we're coming back into there. Remember, this is just a 6-month chart here, so a little bit of a more micro look at it. And then once again, where's it at? 151.80, 151.90 that we just talked about. So everything lines up in that area there, 151.80, 151.90. That's the area we want to see us hold. Resistance is now spot on 155.20. So there's your resistance on Apple, 155.20.